excited to share our way of thriving and so many other people in the room, hence the Thrive Live title. So welcome everybody to Dylan, who's here all the way from Kansas. Woo! And we're each going to share a little bit of our story and why Arbonne is an amazing choice to thrive in your life. So, do you want me to start?
Yeah, go ahead, start, please.
Okay. So I started this business when I was 18 years old. I was actually in this school learning about entrepreneurship. And I was learning about all the trends in the world, how to thrive. I was learning how to be an entrepreneur, right? And being an entrepreneur is supposed to give you lots of freedom and lots of choices and the ability to be your own boss and not work for somebody else. So in these classrooms, you know, I was learning about that kind of stuff. I was learning about trends. I was learning about how to run a business. I was learning about marketing and advertising and finance and accounting and online business and everything, every single thing that you needed to know to run a business. And to be honest with you, it was an amazing program. I love Algonquin, I'll say that first. But it almost made me hesitant about starting a company instead of inspired. And it was in my second semester of my first year here at this school that I was introduced to Arbonne. And I thought that maybe Arbonne could be a little thing that I did on the side to make a little bit of extra money so that I could quit my crappy job sweeping the floors in the salon. And so that's why I started. I really didn't know what it could bring me in my life. But I'm so grateful to say that my 18-year-old little innocent self saw the trends that I was learning and stuck with it and allowed myself to grow into the person that I want to be. And I quickly realized as I went on my journey that this was something that was so much more than just a little business while I was in school. It was my career, it was my life, it was a passion. Because through this business, I get to help people transform their lives. So I hope that you can take away a little bit tonight that will inspire you to thrive in your life, because really that's what it's all about. So Dylan, do you want to share?
Lovely, yeah, absolutely. So this is actually my first time in Canada, which I feel a little bit ashamed of since, I mean, relatively speaking, we're pretty close compared to all the other places I've been. But this has been really, really tremendous. You know, my story is a little bit different from Sammy's, actually, quite a lot different, actually. I've actually grown up in Arbonne for most of my life. My mother started when I was about 6 years old. If you don't know her story, she's kind of got this really, really incredible rags to riches story. She's actually today an author, and she's an actress, and she does Arbonne, and she's doing all these wonderful things. But a little bit of, you know, rewinding. Her story is really interesting because she actually grew up in a small town in Kansas with 4 fathers who were drug addictive and abusive. So, you know, her mother was around drugs, and she was around a lot of violence and abuse for a lot of her life. And it really placed a lot of adversity in her path. But as time went on, she actually went on to become Miss Teen Kansas USA and go into, you know, all sorts of pageantry, where she eventually became a model and actress in LA. And then moved back to Kansas and became a fashion photographer, where then she indeed found Arbonne. 2 years into the business, she was at the top of the company, and within 14 years later, she's in the top 10, and she's got hundreds of thousands of people that she's touched through it. So my story kind of comes in an interesting factor, because growing up within a business like this, you really get to experience every single aspect of what it represents. And I think that a lot of people who haven't been to the top don't really understand the full impact of what it is in its totality. I've really seen the pure transformation that is behind this business. And for a long time, it really showed me how to live by my own inner fire and to really embrace my own dreams within myself, because seeing thousands of people embrace their own dreams and to succeed with that really, really inspired me. And so, I started companies probably from about the time I was 9 years old. I had network marketing kids CDs, and I had all sorts of nonprofits that I started. And then I started a nonprofit at 14, and it was called Teen Fit. And our goal is to empower teens to rise above in all aspects of life. Fitness, body, mind, soul. Did that for about 3 or 4 years and had a ton of success with it. I mean, we had celebrities on our board of directors, had like millions of dollars in funding, all kinds of cool stuff, spoke to thousands of kids all across the world. And I really, really adored helping people on a deep level. When you go into this middle school and you speak to all these kids, and then afterwards you have kids come up to you sobbing because you saved them from committing suicide. That's something really, really special. And I know, right? It gets me emotional. And so I wanted to keep that aspect of helping others in my life, but I also wanted to live a life of really amazing abundance and travel and beauty like I had experienced growing up. And so I was looking into all these different ways I could build companies around, my vision and to be able to make money, but also help people. I went to all these really big entrepreneurs around, my Kansas City area and also throughout the world, and asked them how they had become so successful. But I did realize something. Most of these entrepreneurs, male or female, were in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and they were extremely successful. Some of them billionaires, some of them, worth hundreds of millions of dollars. And a lot of them had started their companies in their early mid-20s, and they had worked their way to the top for 35 years. And once they finally attained all that material abundance, their life was more than half over, and they had completely neglected to enjoy the life that they had before. And I really did not want to live that. I really didn't want to go through most of my life in the pursuit of money, only to find that gratification later on in life when I no longer had the time to pursue my dreams. So I kind of, took a little bit of a sabbatical and kind of, tried to figure out exactly what I was going to do with my life. And that was when Arbonne came in, and that was when I kind of decided that I was going to look at that for myself, because I'd always kind of egotistically thought I was too good for it. I thought that, yeah, right, you're like, wait, your mother's like a top MVP and you thought you were too good for Arbonne. Well, yeah, my young little teenage self thought I was. But I decided to jump into it, and it's been nothing but absolute tremendous just joy and growth and just absolutely every single blessing and more than I could ever imagine. And so for today, my business is in 5 countries, and we're quickly moving on to nation and just, doing everything that we possibly can to assist the world and to affect people's lives on a deeper level. Because with this isn't about money for me. It's about really, really helping people find their life. Because I think that in this world that we're living in, people have become complacent, and they've allowed themselves to forget why they have been placed on this earth. They've allowed themselves to get to this endless cycle of going through the motions. And I think that is a fate worse than death. And so my goal is to help people get out of that cycle and to find fulfillment financially, but also on a deeper level. And so that's a little bit of my story. But yeah, so I guess I'm going to continue. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Arbonne story, because I think it's really tremendous. And I think that Arbonne truly is something that is really, really different, even though on the outside to a lot of people, looking in, it may seem like it's like a lot of other network marketing companies. Arbonne has actually been around for 35 years. So we were founded by a man named Peter Mork. He had his family in Switzerland, and he was an entrepreneur. So he started off with this vision to create pure, safe, and beneficial products that were going to help empower people to be healthier and to live better lives. While at the same time, he wanted to actually create a company that was going to be focused on helping women empower themselves financially and through all aspects of life. Because at the time, 35 years ago, women weren't nearly as empowered as they are today. Oftentimes, especially in America, they would, stay home and cook the dinners and make sure the kids had everything they needed, while the men would go out and do their business affairs. So he brought Arbonne to America originally, and he started this network marketing company. And it was something, pretty new at the time. There weren't nearly as many of those as there are today. And for the first 10 years, it was a struggle, it was a hardship. But then we eventually just exploded, and now you find ourselves in 5 countries today, heading on to 6. So besides the story itself, Arbonne is a company that has over 400 products, and they're all pure, safe, and beneficial. So they're all vegan, gluten-free, non-GMO. Sammy's going to talk about that a little bit later. But we really, really have a tremendous company with a culture that's based on pure transformation in all aspects of life. So, our goal is to really help people transform in every single aspect of their being. And from that, a lot of success follows. So do you want to kind of continue about the products?
Thank you. So the products are incredible. I was a product junkie before I started Arbonne. I'm a makeup artist. I own a makeup academy with my sister Andrea. So, products were my thing. I never considered myself as a salesperson, though. I don't like to make people spend money that they don't need to spend. So if that's what Arbonne seems like, I wouldn't be doing it if that was the case. But I'll get into that in a second. So the Arbonne products are incredible, and the reason that I started the business was, one from the trends I was learning about in school here, anti-aging, health and wellness, baby boomers, all of these things. But the other part was that I had taken a class about make your own natural cosmetics. So I learned about mineral oil and sodium lauryl sulfate and all of these different chemicals like parabens and all these things that are really detrimental to your health when you're using them every single day in multiple products. So I was already looking for a natural alternative to the products I was already using. So when Arbonne came in and I learned, okay, this company has the products I'm looking for, as well as an opportunity for a business, that's what really caught my attention. One of the biggest differences about the Arbonne products is that they're formulated in Switzerland. So we follow the European Union standards, and we do that voluntarily, which is crazy. I don't see any other companies doing that are like North American based. So that's something that I really pride myself on. Just to give you a picture, 1,300 plus chemicals are banned in the European Union that are used in products every single day in North America. So that cuts out so much worry right there just by switching your brand to Arbonne. And then like Dylan said, we're gluten-free, we're vegan. Vegan is a huge one because there's so many different ingredients that can be found in products that are actually animal-based. And some people care about that, some people don't. But really what it comes down to is, and I recommend Googling animal rendering plants, that is a huge thing to research, and it's quite shocking, to be honest with you. But we need to know what we're supporting, we need to know what we're buying, we need to know what we're putting on and in our bodies. So basically all these animal byproducts are processed in the animal rendering plants, which are pretty much all unregulated, and that byproduct is sold to cosmetics companies. But it can contain a lot of bad things that can really harm your health, including like overloads of toxins and chemicals and hormones from all of these different animals that are then going into your body. And when your hormones are, imbalanced, so is everything else. So that's a huge one. And definitely go home and research that. The other thing is mineral oil. So mineral oil is actually a natural ingredient because it comes from the ground, but it's the byproduct of gasoline. And what it does is it clogs your pores and blocks your skin. So your skin's main function is to breathe and detoxify. So if you're putting on 20 products a day, each with hundreds of different chemicals, which they don't need to put on the ingredient list, and then you're sealing it all in with mineral oil, and your body's trying to detoxify and get it out and get rid of all the toxins, and you're literally sealing it right back in. By the time you shower again, you put your body lotion. Okay, shower again. It's a never-ending cycle. And then when the average woman is using 20 to 30 to 40 products a day, average men is 10 to 20 products a day, that really adds up over time, right? So our goal is really to educate people on the health, and then to teach them how to switch their brand. So Arbonne, and the reason that I'm doing this and many other people in the room are doing this, all we do is we teach people how to switch their brand. We don't have to convince, we don't have to sell, we just show people, why is Arbonne better? How is this of value to you? What are you looking for, and how can I help you just fill that need, right? So who here uses shampoo, conditioner on a weekly basis? Deodorant, toothpaste?
I hope so.
Body wash, body lotion, any skincare, yeah, cosmetics, protein shakes, energy drinks, tea, any kind of caffeine product, any vitamins, any supplements whatsoever, right? So we only sell products that people are already buying. We just teach them how to switch their brand. So it's very simple. Stop buying in other stores that don't pay you, right? And start buying from Arbonne, your own store. Get 35% off. You're paying wholesale pricing, and then have it shipped to your house. And then share. Teach other people how to do the same. So that can all be done. The whole business can be done through our amazing business model, which is network marketing.
Perfect. So I really wish I actually had a marker here so I could just totally go to school on you guys. So let's talk about the business plan, okay? Because I think that's something that's really important. And I know there's one guy in this room, which I feel you, brother. I feel you. But I think that it's really, really important to talk about what network marketing actually is and why I believe it's actually the business model of the future. You know, you hear a lot of people, and I think it's starting to actually go down, the number of times we hear this, but a lot of people talk about a pyramid scheme, right? And they're like, oh, well, is that one of those pyramid schemes, you know, that Arbonne thing? Well, actually, no. It's actually been, I don't know about Canada, but in America, it's been illegal for like 30 years now. And on top of that, essentially what a pyramid scheme is it's basically a business model where you bring people in and have them pay large sums of money without ever exchanging products. So it's one of those types of things. Whereas with Arbonne, I think that you can give it this diagram of kind of a social network type thing. So you are an independent business owner, and all you're doing is connecting with other independent business owners all across the world, and you're sharing products. You're helping people replace, you know, the products they're already using, like Sammy said, right? So the essential difference between, you know, network marketing and the traditional retail model is that with retail, you have, you know, the manufacturer, then the wholesaler, then the warehouser, then the sales force, then the consumer, right? So it has to go through all these middlemen. And what's actually crazy is that 50% of every dollar that you spend at the grocery store on products goes towards advertising. So before you pay any of these middlemen, before you spend any money on ingredients, 50% of that money is going towards advertising. That's actually kind of insane, because you're literally paying for I mean, 20% cost of ingredients plus all the profit margins that they have to make. So it's crazy. So you're getting a really, really compromised product. Plus the money you are spending is going towards a massive, you know, retail giant that's worth billions and billions of dollars, and you're just feeding and lining the pockets of shareholders. With the network marketing model in any form, what you're doing is you're helping independent business owners help sustain their own small business, which is really, really cool. On top of that, the network marketing model basically, you know, goes like this. It goes, you have the manufacturer, the independent consultants, then the consumer. So there's really no middlemen to go through. And on top of that, with Arbonne, the independent consultant doesn't actually have to stock products. So really, it just goes from manufacturer to consumer, right? So, you know, it's a lot smarter business model to buy into if you're just going to be a consumer. Now, if you're going to be a business owner, why is network marketing something that is really, really compelling? It's compelling because what you're doing is you're essentially using time leverage. You are helping and teaching and training and breathing your life into other independent business owners. And through that, you are making a small commission off of your total team sales. So you're leveraging your time. When you invest in other people enough, that is going to pay you back over time. So my mother, you know, she spent a lot of time in Australia. She spent a lot of money traveling over there, spent tons of sleepless nights training her team. But now she has the #1 team in Australia that pays her probably, you know, 5 figures a month right now, just from one little team that she invested into one person from one email. So it's time leverage for the rest of your life. The time you spend now building your business is going to give you the freedom to do whatever you want to do. On top of that, with Arbonne, what's really incredible, I'm going to let Sam talk about the compensation plan, but what's really cool is that Arbonne actually has a willable business. So if you're concerned about just the craziness of our economy right now, the global economy, Arbonne is giving you that safety net, because if something were to ever happen to you, your family is actually protected. Your family is going to continue to get checks paid from Arbonne. Now, I don't care what level you are in your current company, if you're the CEO or the janitor, the thing is that if you're not able to do your job, you will not get paid. With Arbonne, if you do your job and help other people succeed and live a better life, you will continue to get paid indefinitely upon that. Now, what's also really cool, going back to the 35-year history that Arbonne has, is that we have a track record of being extremely reliable. We will be around for the next 100, 200 years, which means that is a safety net for you. I think that's pretty cool, okay? So do you want to talk about the business plan a little bit?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so for income, who here would like to make, or who here would it make a difference in your life if you made an extra $200 a month? Everybody, right? So this business is part-time. It doesn't matter what level you're at. Technically, you're not working 40, 50, 80 hours a week doing Arbonne. Like, I don't really know.
I don't know if anybody.
Anyone who's doing that. You know, it might be the only thing that you do eventually, but it's technically not a full-time thing. And the best part about it is that when you're working, it doesn't feel like work. I mean, I would do this if I didn't get paid, because I love it. You know, being able to watch people grow into the people that they're meant to be is the most beautiful thing. having a gift to be able to give people so that they can change their life, that's a beautiful thing. You know, so the income and the money is the bonus that you get by doing something that fills you up, you know. By shining your light, you light up other people. You help them light themselves. And then together, we all light up the world. That's the way I see Arbonne. So I'll give you a quick overview of the compensation plan, or the averages, at least in Canada. So if you're not watching this in Canada, get back to the person that referred you to this call and ask for the compensation plan there, or the overviews. So in Canada, the average for the first level of management, which is district manager, is around $200 to $300 a month. Again, who couldn't use $200 to $300 a month part-time on top of what you're already doing? That's awesome, right? I mean, I was in school here, promoted to district manager, and I did quit my salon job after a few months. I didn't need to replace that much income, but that $200 to $300 to $400 a month really changed my life. And I haven't worked for somebody else since I was 19 because of that. So, you know, that's been an amazing gift in my life. Level 2 is area manager, the second management level, and the average there is around $1,000 to $2,000 a month. Who couldn't use that on top of what you're already doing?
That's part-time.
That's part-time.
Very part-time.
That's life-changing money. A few grand a month to change people's lives and to help people switch their brand. That's all we're doing, right? And that's the level where the business becomes willable. So imagine where in another job could you work your entire life for this company, and then when you pass, you know, they still pay your entire paycheck, and as the business grows, keep paying your entire paycheck to your family. Like, it's a legacy that we leave behind. And, you know, this is a Gen Y call, so for anyone in the room, but for Gen Ys especially, being able to start so young and build a business for the rest of your life, literally, you're creating residual income, massive, millions of residual income that's going to be passed down to your family. Like, this is such a gift that you're offering people. And it doesn't matter which age you start, you can still build it to a place that you're leaving behind an absolute legacy. So that's the power of residual income and of a willable business. The third level of management is regional vice president, and at that level, the average is about $5,000 to $10,000 a month. Who couldn't use that part-time? That's incredible, right? $10,000, imagine $10,000 a month. What would you do with that money? You know, start to dream. Well, what are your dreams? Start to dream again. Take them off the shelf, dust them off. Let's make them happen. That's what we do. You know, we get surrounded by this incredible group of people who are supporting you and lifting you up. And then at Region, you also get a cash bonus every month toward a white Mercedes of your choice. So you get a free Mercedes, you get $5,000 to $10,000 a month. All you're doing is teaching people how to switch their brand and help people change their lives. So fulfilling. And then the last level of management is national vice president, and at that level, the average is around $17,000 to $20,000 a month starting. And there's no cap to that, it's unlimited. Now, something to think about is the way that Arbonne is growing. So back here at Algonquin in school, I learned about the product life cycle, right? So every product has an introductory phase, and then we have like a growth phase, and we have like a maturity phase, and then we have a decline phase, right? So we would always be talking about trends and what the marketplace looks like and how long that product is gonna last, right? So a lot of the times, if it was a fad, it would be quick introductory, quick maturity, quick decline, right? And then for longer products or businesses, they would sustain. And our teachers always talked about, once you get to the maturity phase or the growth phase, you have to be able to adapt and evolve the product or service to change with the times, so that you're always almost reintroducing and rebuilding and regrowing. And that's gonna create a long-term sustainable business. And that's what I see with Arbonne, because like Dylan said, we have a 35-year history. We've perfected the products, we've perfected the business model, we have the most incredible culture, right? So we're only in our introductory phase right now. Only like 4%, 2 to 4% of people in North America have heard about us. Yet we've been in Canada for almost 10 years and the US for 35 years. So this is what I see. I see we're literally we haven't even scratched the surface yet. We have so much growing to do in the places that we are already. yet we have that long, 35-year history. So by the time we get into, our growth phase, which is happening soon as we go globally into new countries, it's not, this is just the beginning. This is ground floor Google here, This is huge. And we're always ahead of the trend. We've been green for 35 years. We've been vegan for 35 years. We've never tested on animals. We've been doing all these things. This vision that Peter had for us was so before its time. And now that's what's trending. And we're still always ahead of the trend with the best technology, the best ingredients, the best development, right? So for me, I see such a huge life cycle for Arbonne. It's so incredible that, everyday people, you don't have to have a certain degree or a certain this or a certain that. Anybody can do this. It's going to take work. It's going to take drive. It's going to take taking the path less traveled. But it's so worth it to be able to leave behind that legacy and to live the life that you've imagined, to thrive, right? So is that all I need to say about that?
Yeah, I suppose the business plan, yeah.
Yeah.
Cover that.
So anyways, shall we close it up then?
Yeah. So I think that closing remarks, are we going to each do a little section? Because I know there's a lot of consultants in the room, and we have, just kind of a generic, we talk about the business, we talk about dream big, but I think that since there's a lot of consultants in the room, I think that there's some Gen Ys in here. I kind of want to just take a few moments just to kind of, let's ask ourselves some questions, because I think that a lot of times, and I've noticed this in my own life, which is the only reason why I'm speaking about it, is that a lot of times we can get so caught up in the day-to-day grind that we forget to ask ourselves the most important questions in life. Like, why are we here? What have we been put on this earth to do? And what sets our hearts alight? What brings us that passion and that vibrancy and that absolute drive and joy? What is it? And I think it's different for every single person in here, but I think that also if you're in this room today, you're here for a reason. Maybe you're in the business and maybe you've kind of trailed off a little bit. You've let life kind of get the best of you. Maybe you're not in the business yet and you are just, doing somebody a favor by being here or being on the Zoom call. But I think that we really need to examine this in order to really figure out what we need to be living our life for. And growing up in this business, I've seen people time and time and time again who have said, this isn't for me, who have said that I just want to kind of make a couple $100s with this a month, just kind of a hobby thing, or I just like the products. I've seen people go from that to absolute and utter success and literally bawling in my mother's arms because their life has been transformed by this. These are people who never in a million years would have imagined that they'd be doing anything like this. Perhaps they had such solid visions for what they were going to become, and they knew they were going to be there, and then suddenly things just collapsed, and they felt like they had no path in life. But Arbonne helped them pick themselves up, and it helped them develop as people, it helped them develop in every single aspect. And now today, their life is completely transformed, along with tens of thousands of others. Tens of thousands of others. Think of that. And how many people are you touching as a result of the 10,000 people that you've directly touched? How many people are changed because you decide that you're not going to let your light be held back any longer? What is the point in holding back your dreams and holding back what you have been given? Your unique individuality is so beautiful. It's so powerful. It's beyond anything you could possibly imagine. And yet, by simply expressing it, all of our fears go away, and we find ourselves on the path that we were meant for. And everything is provided for us. Everything is beautiful. Even if we're not exactly where we want to end up, it strangely seems like we've already arrived. And that's what I want everyone to kind of feel. I want everyone to get into touch with, because people have lost it, and we need to find it again. We need people to go out there and to be that example, to be the light of the world. So thank you. That's my closing remarks.
Perfect. All right, thank you everyone for watching. Bye.